Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Welcome to the week. It is an eclipse week, and always and forever, eclipses move us, change us, groove us, and this eclipse is with just a pinch flavor dollop of Mercury and Uranus. So, what I see as an opportunity, you might see as calamity. So let's get into it a little bit. Okay, we've moved into Virgo season. I don't know if you guys feel that, but I always feel it palpably. When Leo walks on out the door, here comes Virgo. And I will do a whole podcast on Virgo alone, but Virgo energy is more contained, organized, excellent. It's a specialist. It's someone who is of service to others, someone who loves animals, the earth, lists. There is the right way to fold the clothes, says Virgo. And I love that for them. High road of that energy can be it's time to get organized. It's time to get back into our routines, our daily life and rituals that support us instead of impede us. So what this week can you start sorting out? It's a very sorted energy. When I think of Virgos, I think that they are the people I would go to make a list of what I need to straighten up my life. And Virgos love a good list that way. So now that we are in Virgo season, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is making big moves this week. Mercury is going to be Kazimi'd by the sun later this week, as well as Mercury is right next to the South Node right now. Mercury is also moving into Virgo tomorrow. So Mercury being close to the South Node means that we are needing to let go of foundational thinking. I, of course, always go to the patriarchy when I think of examples of foundational thinking that, when contracts get written, constitutions are put in place, Bibles are here for the viewing. To me, that creates some spiritual bypassing. That when we have these set in stone rules to live by, that first, those are important. Because we all need a standard. Virgo loves a standard. We all need standards to live by. But where that gets stale and stuck is when it never gets reformulated. It never gets a voice to what is now, to what is relevant, to what is truly necessary in the world today. And instead of being open, willing, and tenderhearted around what can move and change in our systems, we get very defensive. We get very, you're right and I'm wrong. And that's kind of where Mercury is having a little passage right now. We need to let go of the need for it always having been one way. We're in a changing time. We are the tides ourselves. We are the very ocean that moves the world, because the ocean, the water, the salt air and salt water exists within our bodies too. And I do feel that on some level, there is a meeting of how we move with tides that needs to shift, because the tide has shifted. I think that oftentimes patriarchy bothers me, not because it's masculine in nature, but because the divine masculine doesn't know how to change the same way the divine feminine does. That in fact, us women have periods. We go through menopause, which this bitch knows right now with all the hot flashes and the stopping of my period. I feel that now I'm on this new brink of transition and change, and sometimes it can be incredibly frustrating to witness the world model of patriarchy not changing. And if this bitch has to change, I think everything should have to change. And maybe that sounds selfish, but I don't mean it to sound selfish. I mean it to say that I am a mirror reflection inside my own body of a tide that is moving, changing, and becoming something different. And why can't I expect that from my government, from my environment, from my, world at large view? It's up for review and change. And I think that, honestly, when eclipses are involved, fate is here. And it's different than something like Mercury retrograde, where things start breaking down, where things just don't work right. An eclipse is so much bigger than that. An eclipse says fate is here and everything is going to change. And not only are we having a lunar eclipse full moon in Pisces, which is very much of a spiritual realm, of an intuitive nature, of a unquantifiable mysticism, but we have Mercury in Virgo here doing some shit. And, Mercury is the conscious self. So we've got big moves being made in the subconscious, subterranean level with this eclipse. But we have Mercury, who is here to add language, to add voice, to add communication, to add organization, and to add to it a clarity. So this eclipse is energy that we're ending. So what do you feel like is ending right now in your life, in the great cosmos, in the great wide open of when you walk out your front door and are just here to experience? What experientially is ending, falling away, moving, changing? And how does it make you feel? The homework of this week is just to be righteously aware. I bring the word awareness to this week's podcast because I think that we have opportunity to move through this big energy the more aware we decide to be. And I don't blame some people for wanting to bury their heads in the sand right now, for wanting to not look and see what is upon us. But Mercury in Virgo says no. Because in order to heal a wound, we have to be conscious and aware of it. And Virgo is so of service. And in some modern, theories in astrology, Virgo is very much tied into Chiron, the wounded healer. And so we look at ourselves from a more, how do we fix this standpoint? And I love that. If we're going to be in an eclipse where things are ending and a lot is going on, it's very much helpful that the same day, Mercury is Cazimi'd with the sun. And that just means that Mercury is right in the sun. We call it a Cazimi. And the sun lights up the planet that is dwelling near it like that. And it's so funny because as I'm saying this podcast, if you're watching it, there's a sunbeam coming right in. You can see it. It's hitting my chest where I am speaking. And to me, that so very much reflects this sun Cazimi that we're going to have. This all happens on Thursday. But before that, on Tuesday, we're going to be having Mercury changing signs, and we're going to have Mercury being right close to the South Node, which is where all of this big energy is happening. The South Node is the North Node's opposite. So the North Node, our true North, is the energy that we're building towards and to, the fate of our lives, so to speak. And the South Node is the parts of our fate that we need to relinquish, to release, to set down. So this is one of those weeks where we can feel summer coming to an end. We can feel a season dying away. And in that, knowing that things are going away, what do we need to stay? And if it is a need, why is it a need? Why do you need this to stay the same? What construct of life are you living that if what you truly believed to be true wasn't true anymore, what would you do? Are you so solid on your belief systems that there is no movement? Because I've always said and deeply believe that anything you believe absolutely has power over you. So I want you to take this week to take apart your belief systems, to see how you were raised, maybe. What religion you ascribe to, maybe. What government's side you take, maybe. And try to dream a world in which the universe surprises you and tells you it was all just for fun anyway. That none of it's really true. That all of it is founded on simply faith and belief. And if your faith and belief lies in one category and you witness a human being who has faith and belief in another category, how do you combine those categories? Because most of the time, everything we believe, think, and do comes from the same original source. And what if we believed that each and every one of us came from the same source, and in that way are all one and all the same, and in that way are hurting each other and hurting ourselves at the same time? What would you think of conflict if you believed that? If you believed that everything you do to someone else, you also do to yourself, how would you move differently in this world? It is the law of reciprocity, the laws of action and reaction. It is the way in which we are always and forever mirroring our realities. And when all of this happens, when all of this eclipse energy happens, it does oftentimes feel like maybe something's being taken away from us, or something big is coming into the light, or something hard is needing to be faced and let go of. That I put my trust in the belief in myself, that no matter what's going on, this beautiful light that's playing with my hands right now, no matter what's going on in the outside, beautiful or ugly, I get to choose how I'm interacting with it. And Virgo loves choices. Okay, this Virgo energy is bringing clarity of choice. It's time to stop playing middle. It's time to stop negotiating with your life. And it's time to start coming to the counsel of your own true heart's desire and saying, I'm making a choice. And those choices are yours. You're either choosing to come to the table of your life, or you're choosing to hide from it. And I think the hardship of what eclipse season and Mercury Cazimis and all of this Virgo energy is doing is it's making you get really honest with yourself about your accountability and how far you've come this summer. Because it's time to go a greater distance still. And are you ready to do that? So that is happening this week, and with great fanfare, because Friday, Mercury is squaring Uranus, as well as the Sun squaring Uranus. And Uranus is our planet of big, sudden change. And here's the scary part, and astrologers push this kind of lingo a lot. They say everything's going to change. Oh my God, there's going to be revelations. The same thing as the Bible and the rapture. You know, we can all talk a big game when we're doing predictive astrology or profiting or, you know, whatever anybody else does to try to come up with an answer that is silly. Because the truth is, we don't know how this energy is truly going to play out. In astrology, we would call this very big world, life, soul changing astrology. Cool. Cool. Does that mean that that's all going to happen this week? Absolutely not. It means that there is this gentle, beautiful light marble that has now this week been dropped down the maze, the marble maze of light. And it will take many, many pathways and will affect you personally in very different ways, because your neural pathways are very different than my neural pathways. The things and the carvings that I have made in my brain as a result of my lived experience is going to be completely different than the pathways and tracks of your brain and your lived experience. So understanding that when something happens on a world level, in a sky level, in an astrology level, that the way the sun comes and hits your body is going to feel different, because some of us love the sunshine and some of us love the rain pour. Some of us miss the snow, while others of us lie in fear and weight of it. We all experience the wind blowing against our skin from different nerve endings at different points in our lives, as well as the smells that we're smelling, the feelings that we're feeling, the music that comes on around us, the lived life experience of someone shopping in a grocery store and a song comes on. And that was the song that was playing when they had their first kiss. And then there's someone in the row over who's also shopping, and that same song was the song that was playing when they found out they had cancer. And then in the next aisle over, the song that is playing means absolutely nothing to the other person who's just getting some goddamn goldfish crackers. So now put us all in a room together, and we all have these different lived life experiences, and music is playing, and we're all being moved or not in different ways. The sun is hitting us different. And now let's put some big world-changing astrology, life-changing moments into the mix, and say that just because your life doesn't change in an instant doesn't mean that it didn't just change this instant, because it did, and it does, and it is doing. It just takes choices and awareness and consciousness. And that's what I really like about the astrology this week, is there are choices, awareness, and consciousness here for us, if only we would pick it up and move with it. And just quietly engage with it. Or maybe not so quietly with Uranus being here in the game. Maybe you make a big dick move. I'm for it. Whatever you are on the edge of deciding, decide it. Do not any longer dwell in this middle of victimhood, of this is the thing in my life that is happening to me. I want you right now to take out a soul pen and paper and write down what you feel in your life is happening to you. What are you the victim of in your life right now? And how do we start from square one, rewriting that story? Because the truth is, we can't master anything if we can't master ourselves. And the truth is that there is no true mastery, that anybody that tells you they have ascended, or anybody that tells you they're smarter than you, richer than you, better than you, higher than you, are people that are actually on the brink of their fall. Because it is only with a humble heart, a humble soul, that we can come to the table and learn. The master says, I've learned it all. What's there to learn in that? There's no such thing as it all. When I can step outside my door and have no idea what song the grocery store is going to be playing that day. I have no idea what breeze is going to blow in and spread throughout the lilac of it all, the smells that affect me deeply because lilac was my mom's favorite smell. I have no idea what smells, what sounds, what sights, what feelings are going to be elicited in the great wide open of unpredictability. And Uranus asks us to dwell, live, and accept that life is, in essence, unpredictable. And what are you waiting for? And Virgo says, okay. Well, let's make a plan then. I'm not saying that you need to go out into the world and just let life affect you. I'm not saying that if there is grief in your heart right now and you go expose yourself to the great wide open that you won't in turn get hurt, that it won't be gnarly, bad, ugly. But I am saying that we have choices. I am saying that Virgo and Mercury are here to say, snap out of it. Think about it, guys. Like, take a breath, take a minute, and at least try to imagine yourself as not yourself. Take all of this preconceived, take all of these neural pathways and try to de-escalate them for a day. Try to bear witness to the great wide open as though you are nobody and nobody is you. And how do you think life would feel if you didn't have all of these preconceived notions of shame, of guilt, of regret, of pain, of joy, of happy, of desire, of success? Take all the labels off yourself. And for one day, maybe Thursday, this beautiful sun, Cazimi, lunar eclipse, full moon, Pisces day, and say, it could be anything because I am anything and everything. And so today I choose to just be affected by the world, to just let the world speak to me in wind and song and smells and breath. And see what comes to you if you can find a little more neutrality in your story. Because no matter how old you are, your story is still unwritten until the story concludes. And sometimes there are sad conclusions. I just finished Theo of Golden, and I don't know if the conclusion was what I wanted it to be. And maybe you've read that book, and maybe you have your own feelings on the conclusion of it. If you haven't read it, I suggest reading it, because there are, from my vantage point, a lot of ways you could take the ending of that story. And we'll have a cup of tea and we'll talk about it. But take a very famous book where everybody knows the ending, and then apply your lived experience. And that is what makes book club so rich, is that you can sit in neutrality because the story isn't yours. It's just a story. So you can sit and you can talk about it and ponder it and theorize within a group of other people, and it doesn't hurt as much. Now take your own story and do the same. Could you book club your own story? Would you be on your side? Would you be enjoying this hero's arc right now that you are in? Who is your story for? Who are you writing it for? Hopefully yourself, but do you even know yourself well enough to know where the story is leading you? Eclipses are these beautiful sections where one section of your life has ended and a new one is beginning. And that takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of bravery because it doesn't always look like something big. I think we're used to, as humans, the spectacle of it all. I think we're used to, as souls, the notion that we are in control. And the truth is we're not. And sometimes things happen that have absolutely no meaning whatsoever. If I have to go to the grocery store to cook dinner tonight, is that a soul fate changing thing that I'm doing? Absolutely not. But I do know that I've read a lot of books. And I do know that sometimes in those books, some of those characters go to the grocery store and then nothing ever is the same again. And what if our life is like that? We can't quantify what grocery store visit, what regular Wednesday arbitration beholds the greater meaning and truth of our lives. We never know what day is going to be the new chapter, and we never know what year is going to be the year, our year. And what if I told you every day could be your day, and every year could be your year, and every moment could be that decision, that decisive moment that you could make to let the world move and change you? Because a grocery store visit, while very mundane in nature, can move you in ways you could never imagine if only you accepted the fact that it could move you in ways you could never imagine. And that's what I think of when I think of this eclipse season that we're in. When we're asked to let go of something, when we're asked to compost parts of ourselves that maybe we aren't ready to. And so maybe we grieve or lament or feel melancholic. Maybe we're grieving the end of summer. Maybe you hate the winter and you can feel its impenetrable darkness encroaching on you and your beautiful day and the 7:30 sun still here, soon to be setting way earlier. Maybe you grieve that. Or maybe you exalt it and you look forward to it. Whatever kind of person you are. There's a color for every person on the rainbow. And it's not about it being the season that you're most looking forward to. It's about your life season. And that even in the darkness, there is great lessons to learn. And maybe that the dark impending and coming towards us is going to lead you to a light that is so much brighter than you ever could have imagined. And wow, what a thing. What a notion. What a joy it is to be in this life and to think anything could happen at any moment, at any time. And wonder and awe is a choice. And that nothing at all is happening to me right now, but I do have this relationship to the sun that is coming and filtered through my window, that is touching me on my shoulder, and I'm choosing to notice it. I'm choosing to see it. The bitch is choosing not to look at her messy hair and the fact that my jeans are unbuttoned right now because I just ate a breakfast burrito and my stomach is like really full. And I probably didn't need to eat the whole breakfast burrito. No, it's the sun. Look at the sun hitting my skin. These are choices. I can choose to look at my busted ass hair or to lie to you that my pant button isn't unbuttoned. It is. And that's just the truth. But the other truth is that there is sun and it is hitting my skin. And for however ugly I feel that I am today, rolling out of bed, I also know that I'm wearing this tank top that was my mother's. And it makes me feel closer to her because I remember days when she wore this tank top. And I remember days where I remember thinking, oh, she has the perkiest, most beautiful little tits. And that's not this girl. I don't know what genetic line I got, my grandma on my dad's side. That side. Because I don't have perky, happy little tits. I have bigger ones that have nursed babies and gotten bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller, and now they're kind of National Geographic chic. So you see, my brain can take me to all kinds of places of self-loathing. My brain can make fun of myself. I like that part of myself. My brain can also, at the same time, be marking and noting this beautiful sunshine that's hitting my shoulder. And that's what this week is. It is choices. We get to choose if we eat the whole burrito. I did. We get to choose if we exalt this sunshine that's on our shoulder, that's telling us that something's happening in the world. Out there. I'm not out in it yet. I will be soon. And what if I decided to go outside and go about my day as an expectation around finding that sunshine on my shoulder. That I will go out and be protected. That I will go out and find happenstance that moves me in a way that releases maybe some of the sadness of the fact that my mom can't wear this tank top, that I have to for her because she isn't here anymore. I can love her by wearing her out of the house. And I can choose to be sad about that, or I can choose to exalt that beautiful cotton fabric that's sitting against my skin right now and take it for a walk, or take it to see some friends, or just take it to exist and live inside of it with unbuttoned pants. These are all choices, and that's what this week is all about, is that big changes are happening. That's true. And all of the astrologers are like, everything is about to change. I mean, we're like freaking movie previews. Today is a day like no other. I love whoever does those movie voice previews. You go, guy. It's probably a bunch of guys, but yet they all sound like the same guy. But anyway, I think of like that big astrologers like coming in hot like that. Everything will change. And it's like, then in our little human iterations, we're like, wait, nothing changed. What? Was everything supposed to change? But what I want you to do as an exercise, and what I'll leave you with this week is, I want you to deeply think about what you were doing on this day last summer. And maybe you don't have Facebook, because a bitch has Facebook, so I can go back over my memories and go find it. Or maybe you can just remember what August felt like for you last year. And can you honestly sit here and tell me that last August feels the same as this August? Because boy, is there some soul searching to do if the answer to that's yes. No, everything's different. I can't explain what's happened this summer. I'll just leave it at, it's been one of the best summers of my life, and I didn't even do anything really. That San Francisco trip I took was awesome. And I'll leave you with that story too, is that I went to San Francisco to listen to an artist that I have loved. I have fallen in love to. My current partner, we fell in love to her music, and boy, is it a beautiful love 7 years later. Our love is still so beautiful to me, he and I's. And so it's all wrapped up into her voice. And I wanted to be in her nearness so much. But I don't like to be a fangirl. I don't like to wait after concerts, and I don't like to get in line to get a card signed. I like it to happen more organically because I like to imagine that we're all just peopling in the world. And so I thought the doors opened at 6. And so we got there early because it was standing room only and a bitch wanted a good seat. So I was there early, but like everything was shut when the doors were supposed to be open. And then I look at the marquee and I see, oh, the doors open at 7. Oops. We're a whole hour early. We're in a new city. That's not too big a deal, though. I'm like, God, is menopause like eating my brain slowly? I don't know. Maybe it is. But so we decided to like go explore and of course look for whatever nearest bookstore was around. So we start walking and Dustin looks in a laundromat that's right next to the concert venue. And in my peripherals, I see beautiful hair. And I'll tell you, this artist, Valerie June, has beautiful hair. Yes, she does. And it stopped us in our tracks. And it was like, we didn't even need to say words, Dustin and I. It was just like, oh my God. And like, it was like a cartoon where you could physically hear our urge. And we back up and we look in that laundromat window, and there she was. Valerie June. What? And I gotta say, for all of the advice I've been giving on platforms and how we need to fire our gurus and not platform each other, I fangirled so hard. I ran in there and I gave her a hug and I asked if we could take a picture. And she was so magnanimous. She said, oh, we're getting really real now. In a laundromat with her clean clothes, in the peripherals, people all around. But it showed me what my yearning can do, what my manifestation skills are capable of when I stop needing to control the moment and I start being open to what's possible in the moment, this sunshine on my shoulder. That there's always messages, that What if I told you everything that is going on in your reality, you are creating because it is your experience. This is your life. This is your time. And while Valerie Junes aren't always going to be in the laundromat, sometimes they will. And if you open yourself up to the notion that they will, then they will. And you'll see them. And then you'll make the wrong decision to just fangirl them and not at all humanly connect to them. And whoops, then the next night I went to her concert a second time and waited in line and got to hold her hands and have a real human moment with her. Doing the thing that I never do, waiting in line to get my ticket signed. But it was, and gave her my business card. So Valerie June, I'll say, if you have that business card, you can call me for a free reading. She can. And hey, what if that happened? What divine circumstance, right? There's my next fated move. You heard it here first. But it's all choices. Whether or not that is what comes of it or not is neither here nor there. It is the experience of seeing the thing in front of you that you've imagined. And that our whole world is that imagined experience all the time. It's all just a dream. And our subconscious knows it so much more than any other part of us. And what if you started playing with it more? What if you believed in it more? What if this sunshine on my shoulder during this whole podcast meant something more? Because I let it mean something more. Because to me, this is a message that I'm on the brink of something really beautiful. And maybe I'll come back and tell you next week what that beautiful thing was, because I don't know what it is yet. But I wait in excited anticipation instead of dread, horror, and the other. Oh, and the card I pulled, you guys. Milk and honey. It's a beautiful picture of honey, milk, an elephant bathing in a bowl and a rainbow over him, and a beautiful picnic plaid blue table. And I think about that a lot, that in times of calamity and big change and fear, which I talked about last week, this great fear, that once we start transmuting all of that into something to look forward to, into a body experience we accept inside of ourselves, it turns into something different. And that all the hard things that have ever happened to you were teaching you how to do the soft things. That each thing that is in its opposite can find its center through each other. That the light and the dark speak together in order to find the distinction of night and day and afternoon and beautiful sunshine on your shoulder. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I bequeath you this podcast to then give to other lovelies out in the world, because I so much want to be a part of the world, not just my small town, not just my small world, but part of the whole world. And the way that I know to do it best is not by selling myself, marketing myself, and doing things that wouldn't be true to myself. It's really just a gentle ask of, won't you leave me a nice review on my podcast so that it has bigger reach online, whatever the damn algorithm is? Won't you leave a review? Won't you give some stars? Won't you text a friend the link to my podcast? Won't you share me so that I might find my way to other lovely soul seekers like yourself? It's my call to action always, is I share me and I ask that you share me. And in so doing, we create a microcosm of sharing that will lead back to each other and build more strength, light, and sunshines on our shoulders. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.